They're all looking at you. You don't belong here. You are alone.
Okay, let's just jump right in. The title of this explainer is, pretty blunt, Why You Have No Friends. Now, before you think this is some kind of a tap, just stick with me for a minute. We're about to look at this whole idea through a completely different lens, one that honestly might feel incredibly validating. You know, society sends us a pretty clear message, right? That popularity equals success. So if your friend group is, let's say, on the cozier side, it's so easy to start wondering, is this some kind of personal failure? Am I doing something wrong here? Well, today we are going to challenge that entire idea.
So to really take on that old-fashioned idea, we need a new way of thinking. There's this psychological concept called validation logic, and trust me, it's going to completely reframe how you see the whole idea of having a small, tight-knit group of friends. So what exactly is validation logic? Well, to put it simply, it's the idea that having only a few friends isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's the totally natural, totally deliberate result of you having really high standards for the people you let into your world. This isn't something that just happens to you, it's an active choice you're making.
And that brings us to one of the biggest ideas in validation logic, something you've probably heard a million times, but maybe not quite like this: the conscious choice of quality over quantity. We're constantly sold this social myth that the more friends you have, the happier you'll be. It's all about the numbers. But the psychological reality, it's so much deeper than that. It's the depth of your connections, not just how many you have, that brings real fulfillment and that rock-solid emotional support we all need. Think about it like this, right? You can have a huge number of connections, hundreds of acquaintances, thousands of followers online. But the real value, the stuff that actually matters, is in the depth of those bonds. Validation logic says that people with high standards just instinctively focus on making that depth as meaningful as possible, even if it means the total number of people is a lot smaller.
So what kind of person operates this way? Well, this leads us to the second pillar of validation logic. It's a personality trait, and it's called low social dependency.
Now, this is a really, really important point. Low social dependency does not mean you're antisocial or that you don't like people. Not at all. It just means your sense of who you are, your self-worth, isn't tied to what everyone else thinks. You get your validation from your own internal compass, your values, your principles, not from how many party invitations you get in a week.
Let's break down what this actually looks like. Do any of these sound familiar to you? You know, prioritizing those deep, meaningful bonds over just shallow small talk. Your self-worth isn't really tied to being popular. You're super selective about who and what you give your precious time and energy to, and maybe this is the big one, you are genuinely okay, even happy, just being by yourself. See, these aren't signs that something's wrong. They're actually hallmarks of low social dependency.
So when you put all of this together, this focus on quality and this trait of low social dependency, a completely new picture starts to emerge. You're not just some passive victim of your social life. No, you are the architect of your own circle.
I mean, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The whole story just flips. What society might try to label as a failure is actually reframed as a conscious preference, a deliberate choice to have something more real, something more meaningful. So, here's the main takeaway, the most important point. Your small circle isn't an accident. It's by design. It is not a sign of what you lack. It's a powerful reflection of your high standards. It's a space that you have carefully, intentionally built for yourself. And that is an incredible act of self-respect. And that leaves us with one final, and I think pretty empowering question. The question is no longer, why don't I have more friends? The real question, the one that truly matters, is this. Given your high standards, who has actually earned the privilege of being in your circle?
They're all looking at you. You don't belong here. You are alone.